I
He said he
swear.
followed my mom's van on our way home.
Bitch blocked the fuck.
Video right there. I don't know why I didn't. But what's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. My name's Super Ziggle, and we finna get into some a little horror tonight for this video. Yeah, I'm filming this at nighttime because I don't know why, I'm just hyper. So that's why I decided to film at night. So it's currently, what time is it? Currently 1:45 in the morning. Can I turn the brightness up on my... Okay, so as y'all can see, we gonna get into some horror stories, and yeah, let's get into it.
Jeez. That old arcade with the singing animatronics.
Hold on.
Of course you know. I just found out they went bankrupt recently. It made me think back to my horrible experience there as a very little kid. I was no older than 8 or 9. It was like my third and last time ever at a Chuck E. Cheese. This specific location closed down years ago, but it used to be basically down the street from our old house. My mom took my little brother and I, and she let us roam free and do our own thing and play the games, while she sat at one of the tables reading like most of the other parents. I was playing this clown game where you had to shoot the clown's teeth out with this little cannonball shooter.
No, I played the one where you got to throw the balls at him.
For the prizes.
I played that one, not this one.
I finished the game again, and the ticket shot out from the ticket slot. That's when I felt a tap on my shoulder. I turned and jumped in my seat. I was greeted with a giant Chuck E. Cheese mascot in my face.
Oh, what's up,
He
gang?
held out his hand for a high five.
Oh, you still right there?
Actually,
Slide
I
him.
gave him his high five with a smile. He then pointed at the tickets and gave me a thumbs up. I think I just continued laughing and smiling and said, yeah. Then he pointed at the tickets once more and motioned for me to follow him. So I ripped the tickets from the slot and followed the giant mascot.
Fucking way, boy. Boy, ain't no way, boy. Boy, ain't no way, boy.
As we walked across the main floor, a couple other kids around like 6 came up to him saying, "Hey, Chucky," and he gave them both high fives. I kept following him, wondering if he'd tell the other kids to follow, but he didn't. He would turn back every few seconds to make sure I was still following. Finally, we made it across the main floor.
Nobody see you? Like, where's your parents, gang?
Where he waved me to follow him through this employees-only door. From what I remember about how I was feeling, let's just say a combination of weird and excited.
Yeah, because you shouldn't be back here.
We entered this narrow hallway, and I felt kind of special for being allowed access back here. Keep in mind, I had the mind and maturity of a very young child. The mascot led me to this back room where he motioned for me to enter first, so I did. It was this small changing room type of room. It had a few lockers on one wall and one long bench extending half the length of the room. That was it. He entered the room and shut the door behind us, and I noticed he locked it.
Your parents didn't...
That's when I became
Your parents don't see you. Where is this?
I thought he was
Where are your
taking me to get a
parents,
bunch
man?
of free tickets. What could he possibly do in this empty room with me? He approached me, put his furry mascot hand on my shoulder, and then started rubbing from my shoulder to my arm.
Slay him right.
It seemed
I
as
won't
though
even
he
be
tried to
back
reach
here.
lower with both of his hands, and I pushed him off and yelled, "Stop!" That's when the person in the suit lifted the mask off his head, revealing some sweaty, middle-aged man underneath. He started to remove the rest of the costume from himself as he told me to be quiet. I sat there watching, shaking, and plotting my way for the door. When I thought he was distracted enough by the suit, I tried to run past him for the door, but he grabbed me and told me to stop. He offered me all the free tickets I wanted if I just behaved. I started to yell and pound on the door. He tried to cover my mouth, but I think he gave up when he realized it wasn't worth the risk for him. I unlocked the door and ran back down the hall in tears. I ran back to my mom, yelling at her about what just happened. She was distraught, went right to the front desk. The girl at the front desk seemed to be in a panic as well, and I think she called for her supervisor. Pretty soon, all the music was stopped, and the place was put into a lockdown of sorts, where all the kids were to go to their parents. A bunch of workers ran to the back section, and eventually police showed up outside. I had to give my whole story to a crowd of like 6 people, and I was extremely nervous. The man in the Chuck E. suit was some random creep who snuck into the back section of the building to dress in one of the suits and apparently lure children to the back. Realizing and looking back at that now as a grown adult is disturbing and disgusting. That I was the victim of a predator. I never found out if that monster was caught.
You just what?
I used to work for Chuck E. Cheese very briefly when I was 21 years old. I was one of the janitors slash maintenance workers. I know, not very awe-inspiring. I was broke as hell and needed money.
Tired.
All my job really entailed was cleaning tables and keeping the play areas generally clean. Sounds easy, but there was never really a time to just sit and take a breath. There was always something to clean or take care of.
Ma,
I would also be in charge of turning on and off the animatronics,
because I use the laptop for the lights, so yeah.
fixing busted arcade machines and things of that nature. My shifts would always be later, from like 4 to 10 p.m. My location closed at 8 on weekdays and 9 on weekends. I would stay an hour, sometimes 2 hours after, to get the place in top shape ready for the next day. So this one night, I was working past close like I usually did. Everyone had already left the building, including the other workers, so I was the last one in the building. I was dragging my cleaning cart around the arcade area. I had already turned off all the game machines. I was by that space-themed arcade machine where you had to press the button at the right moment to stop the light on the jackpot bulb.
I'm not finna be
As I was
the only
passing by
one
this
here.
machine,
That's why y'all had me messed up.
space-themed music suddenly emits from the machine at a very loud volume,
If y'all
and all the lights start
the
flashing
only one
again.
here, I'm
I felt
coming
like
in,
my
I'm
heart was in
cleaning
my
up
throat.
early.
That's how much it startled me. I fiddled with my keys to access the control port of the machine to turn it off again. I'd never seen anything like that happen before. It suddenly just freaked me out. Only because I was all alone in that big building pretty late at night. The weirdness didn't stop there, though. By this point in the night, I had already shut down the animatronics on the stage. So when I heard Chucky's pre-recorded laugh break the silence of the room, my heart started pounding again. The
What?
laugh was short and cut off. It almost sounded glitchy. I ditched my cleaning cart to go backstage and check on the animatronics. I could see they were in their idle modes now, meaning they would move their limbs and heads around every so often. I would have to go to the control room to turn them off, but this was the second strange thing to happen that night. I started getting paranoid that someone else was in the building with me. That thought was interrupted, and I noticed that the Chucky animatronic was facing me, and its head angled down perfectly to look as though it was looking at me.
It does that,
Bizarre. Bizarre
If
that
it's
I was
in
finding
idle
it that
mode, right?
disturbing. I'm not crazy, but for my own peace of mind, with my eyes on the Chucky animatronic, I walked past it, closer to the control room. I waited there for a few seconds. And the animatronic spun 90 degrees to face me once more, perfectly. I swear it was once again looking right at me, and then the laughter emitted
Then
once
I would've
again from the
broke it.
animatronic.
I hope you bulletproof for this about to hurt.
But in a creepy, glitchy, cut-off manner. This time much louder, obviously because I was right next to it. I ran to the control room to hit the switch to turn everything off on the stage once more.
That don't work. There's no way out of this one.
I left the control room, and the Chucky animatronic was still facing the direction it was moments before. I left the stage through the curtain and just felt uneasy. I was starting to think maybe it was all just getting to my head. But that's when I
Nah,
heard
bro,
the
you
horrible
don't
laugh
usually
again come from
imagine
the
things
stage
like
behind the
this.
curtains. That was the last straw. I took my card, clocked out, and left.
No, YouTube.
I texted
Come
my
on
boss
now.
the next
Come
day
on
that
now.
I had
Come
to
on
leave
now.
early because I was feeling extremely sick. He said it wasn't a problem, but he never mentioned anything about the animatronics being left on. And when I asked him if the animatronics had some kind of motion detecting feature to look at people, he said no, they didn't. I'm not the most superstitious guy, but I firmly believe I wasn't the only presence in that building that night. And I don't mean there was another person in there.
The three
This is a
stage.
story from my childhood that I don't like to look back on too much.
Alright.
I was 13. My mom brought my two little sisters and I to Chuck E. Cheese one evening. My sisters are 4 and 6 years younger than me, so it was more for them. My mom just wanted me to come
Chuck
along.
E. Cheese was the spot.
My mom was playing
Like when I
games
was
with my
like
sisters,
6, 7.
so I went to do my
When I was
own
like
thing.
6 or no.
It was my
I'm
only
not, 'cause
time
that
ever
mean,
at Chuck E. Cheese.
when I was like
So I was trying to
6,
play every
5
game at
to
least
8,
once.
that was the spot.
Eventually, a worker in a red polo shirt came up to me. He was in his lower to mid-20s, I'd say. He didn't seem that old. He asked me if I wanted some more tokens. I said,
No.
yeah, sure. He told me to follow him.
So we didn't learn. We didn't learn from last time. We didn't. So we didn't learn. Comprehension.
We didn't
He
learn.
led me through this sketchy
So
back
we
door,
didn't
which
learn.
led to a back exit. I asked him where he was leading me. He said to his truck.
To his
He told me not to tell anyone, but that he had access to all the tokens he wanted and just kept piles of them in his car. I stopped following when I realized he was leading me to his car. I told him my mom would be mad. He tried to push that I follow him a little more, but gave up. Before I walked back
Follow
inside,
you
he asked for
where?
my AIM username, and I gave it to him. I was excited for new friends on AIM. For those of you who don't know, AIM was an instant messenger that was all the rage before smartphones and texting really became a thing.
It doesn't matter who
I
is
don't
this. He's
remember
a
his
random.
username. All I know, it was something with his
Sir,
name in it,
you're
which
a
was
random.
I would sign on to AIM every single night, including that night after Chuck E. Cheese. I signed in, and I had a few friends online. Next thing I knew, I got a message from Ben, so I added him to my buddy list. He said, "Hey, it's Ben from earlier." I replied, "What's up?" and we started chatting. He chatted with me as if we were good friends already. I asked him how he was able to get all the tokens he wanted, and he said it's easy when you work there.
He's a
He was
grown
going to come to my
man.
house that night with a bunch of tokens.
This is not
I
odd
told
to
him,
you.
no,
He's
it's
a
okay.
grown man.
And he told me, no, it's fine. You live really close to me anyway. I replied, how do you know where I live?
I
He said he followed my mom's van on our way home.
Bitch, blocked the fuck.
I blocked his account immediately. I was beyond scared. I told my friends about it on AIM. Some of them said I should tell my
Listen
parents.
to that.
or
I
call
followed
the
your
police.
mom's van
But I waited.
when
He
y'all
was
went
bluffing.
home. What type?
He wasn't.
Nah,
I heard a truck pull up outside through my open window.
Well,
I looked out the window and saw the black truck that Ben guy was leading me towards earlier. I saw him get out from the truck, and I know he spotted me because he started walking over to my window.
I would have ran to.
I pulled the window
My
in and
mom's
locked
window,
it,
you.
and then shut the blind. By that point, he was already halfway to my window, and he was waving his arms at me. I ran to my mom to tell her. She didn't find it funny, thinking I was kidding at first. But I convinced her after she looked out the window and saw the black truck begin to speed down the road. My mom wanted me to show her the AIM conversation, but I couldn't, as I had deleted him off my buddy list and blocked him. My parents called the police, of course, but that was just for peace of mind. They couldn't do anything besides make a report. The next day, my mom called the Chuck E. Cheese and asked about a Ben. They said they had no Bens who worked there. There were also no employees matching that guy's description. The Chuck E. Cheese eventually handed the CCTV footage from the day before to the police department for an investigation, which turned up no results. My family never went to a Chuck E. Cheese ever again.
Well, no fucking shit.
I wouldn't either. The jump scare is something, bro. I'm telling you. Video, I was expecting a jump scare. Like, subscribe, do all that. I'm back, you know. Let's try to hit 1K by the end of the year. I'm out. Peace.